So, let's talk about Harvard University. Yes, Harvard. On May 22, 2025, something rather dramatic happened. The Trump administration decided Harvard could no longer enroll international students. Just like that, poof. No more new foreign students for the 2025 to 2026 academic year. This wasn't a quiet suggestion. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem herself announced it. She formally revoked Harvard's certification for the Student and Exchange Visitor Program, or SEVP. This program is basically the golden ticket for universities wanting to host students from abroad. Without it, those students can't legally study there. It's a big deal. A very big deal indeed. Now you might be asking, why would the US government do this? Good question. The official reason given was Harvard's alleged failure to play by the rules. Specifically, the administration claimed Harvard didn't comply with a records request from the Department of Homeland Security. DHS wanted conduct records of foreign students, stretching back 5 years. This wasn't just any request. They were looking for information about student behavior, and it seems Harvard wasn't handing it over quickly enough, or perhaps at all, to the administration's liking. This is the kind of bureaucratic tug-of-war that usually happens behind closed doors, not splashed across headlines. But wait, there's more. It wasn't about records. The administration also demanded significant changes at Harvard. They wanted alterations to Harvard's hiring practices. They wanted changes to its admissions processes. And critically, they wanted changes to its teaching practices, all supposedly to combat anti-Semitism on campus. The White House didn't mince words, accusing Harvard of becoming a hotbed of anti-American, anti-Semitic, pro-terrorist agitators. Secretary Noem added her own colorful commentary, accusing Harvard of perpetuating an unsafe campus environment and promoting pro-Hamas sympathies. These are incredibly serious accusations to level at one of the world's most famous universities. And to really hammer the point home, Harvard was given an ultimatum. A very tight one. They had 72 hours. 72 hours to comply with these demands to get their SEVP certification back. This included providing those disciplinary records. They also needed to show evidence of any illegal or violent activities by their non-immigrant students. The administration specifically wanted audio and video recordings of any protest activity. It seems they were very keen on knowing what students were saying and doing, especially if it involved protests. This puts Harvard in an incredibly tight spot, squeezed between federal demands and its own institutional principles. So, what does this mean for the actual people involved, specifically the students? Well, it's a nightmare. For current international students at Harvard, and there are a lot of them, over 6,700 individuals, the news is devastating. We're talking about nearly 6,800 students, making up about 27% of Harvard's entire student body. These students, who come from over 140 different countries, now face a terrible choice. They must either find another SEVP-certified school to transfer to, which is no small feat, or they risk losing their legal status to be in the United States. Imagine traveling halfway across the world for your education only to be told you might be kicked out. The numbers themselves are staggering. Almost 1 in 4 students at Harvard is international. These aren't just statistics, these are young people, scholars, researchers who have uprooted their lives. They've navigated complex visa processes, secured funding, and committed to years of study. Now their academic futures are thrown into complete chaos. Think of Jared from New Zealand, an incoming freshman wondering if he'll ever get to start. Or Carl Molden from Austria, a current student, terrified he won't be able to return to campus, potentially losing internships and financial aid. This isn't just an administrative issue, it's a human crisis for thousands. Unsurprisingly, the students are not taking this well. Reports are filled with stories of anxiety, confusion, and deep concern. Leo Gurdon, an undergraduate from Sweden, put it quite bluntly. He criticized the administration for using international students as poker chips or leverage in its bigger fight with Harvard. And he's got a point. These students are caught in the middle of a high-stakes political game. Sarah Davis, an Australian graduate student, echoed these fears, worried about her future and her post-graduation plans. Their dreams and hard work are now hostage to a conflict they didn't create. And what about Harvard itself? Beyond the immediate welfare of its students, there's a significant financial and operational impact. The university, clearly scrambling, announced plans to free up an extra $250 million of its own funds. This is to support research, adding to the $500 million it already spends each year. This move is clearly designed to mitigate the damage, especially the potential loss of graduate students who are vital to research programs. This decision doesn't just hurt students, it aims a torpedo at Harvard's research capabilities, a core part of its identity and global standing. Harvard, as you might expect, isn't just rolling over. The university's response was swift and sharp. They labeled the administration's move as unlawful and retaliatory, strong words. Harvard emphasized its unwavering commitment to supporting its international students and scholars through this turmoil. The university stated this action threatens serious harm to the Harvard community and our country, and undermines Harvard's academic and research mission. They see this not just as an attack on Harvard, but as an attack on the very principles of academic freedom and international collaboration, which is a fair assessment. This isn't the first round in the ring for Harvard and the Trump administration. Oh no. This conflict has been brewing. In April 2025, Harvard had already taken the administration to court. Why? Because the administration had terminated grants and federal funding. They also made those sweeping demands regarding Harvard's policies on anti-Semitism and diversity initiatives. Harvard argued then, as it does now, that many of these federal requests, like an audit of student and staff viewpoints, go way beyond governmental authority. They believe these demands could even violate their constitutional rights. So, the battle lines were drawn well before this latest bombshell. Given this history, it's highly likely Harvard will mount another legal challenge. The New York Times certainly seems to think so, and they'd have good reason. The stakes are incredibly high. We're talking about the university's ability to attract global talent, maintain its research output, and uphold its academic independence. Harvard has deep pockets and a formidable legal team. They are not an institution that shies away from a fight, especially when they believe they are in the right. This legal battle could be long, messy, and incredibly significant for higher education everywhere. The administration's pressure tactics have been escalating for some time. Before this SEVP revocation, there were threats to revoke Harvard's tax-exempt status. There were also moves to freeze those crucial government grants, which are the lifeblood of much university research. The White House even sent a list of demands in April, which it later, rather embarrassingly, claimed was a mistake. But the pattern is clear. A sustained campaign to bring Harvard to heel over issues like campus protests related to the Israel-Hamas war and its diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, which the administration labels as racist. This isn't just a Harvard problem, not by a long shot. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem made that crystal clear. She stated on Fox News, and I quote, "This should be a warning to every other university to get your act together." So, the message is unambiguous. Comply with federal demands or you could be next. This action against Harvard is intended to send a chilling effect throughout the entire U.S. academic sector. It's a power play, designed to make other institutions think twice before resisting government oversight or directives, however intrusive they may seem. The broader implications for American education are deeply concerning. This move could significantly deter international students from choosing to study in the United States at all. If a prestigious institution like Harvard can have its ability to enroll foreign students revoked so suddenly, what does that mean for other, less powerful universities? The U.S. has long been considered a global leader in higher education, attracting the brightest minds from around the world. Actions like this seriously tarnish that reputation. It could lead to a brain drain, or perhaps more accurately, a brain, as talented students opt for countries perceived as more stable and welcoming. Let's not forget the economic angle. International students contribute massively to the U.S. economy. We're talking billions of dollars annually through tuition, living expenses, and their subsequent contributions to the workforce, especially in STEM fields. Education is in fact a strong U.S. export. This decision doesn't just impact research programs, which will suffer without international graduate students, it also hits the U.S. wallet. Weakening the international student pipeline is, frankly, an act of economic self-sabotage wrapped in a political dispute. It's like cutting off your innovative nose to spite your academic face. Experts are already weighing in, and the picture they paint is not pretty. Education consultant Alex Usher noted the potential for long-term damage to Harvard's research capabilities, which could take years, if not decades, to repair. Jay Green from the Heritage Foundation suggested, perhaps cynically but probably accurately, that the administration's actions are a strategic move to gain leverage over Harvard. While some experts believe an agreement between Harvard and the administration is likely eventually, the damage to America's image as a beacon of academic freedom and opportunity might be far more lasting. This is a worrying precedent.